Welcome everyone to a new YouTube video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to think like a millionaire, coming from a multimillionaire himself, as well as I work with many other millionaires, multimillionaires, and I've been in a lot of masterminds where I've come across a lot of 8-9-figure people. And there are 8 key things that I've noted down here today as lessons that I'd love to share with you on my observations on what really, gets a millionaire to create a perception and with that achieve the results that they do on a business level. So without further ado, a little bit of context on myself. My name is Bastian Sloll. I'm 25 years old and I'm the CEO of appointmentsetter.com. I'm also an investor in school.com as well as graza.nl. I also recently launched a software, so I've got a portfolio of companies and my net worth is at about 50 million right now. So I can definitely teach you a thing or two about, how to think like a millionaire, because not only was I starting at a supermarket job, I've also basically walked the journey from, step 1 all the way to where I am today. And of course, the journey is endless and I've still got many more things to learn. And that's also one of the lessons that I'm going to share with you to always be in a student mindset. So without further ado, let's dive into it. So first thing that I've got here is millionaires focus on one goal and stick to the basics. So every millionaire that I know, they focus on simplicity and focus. And with simplicity and focus comes having one goal in mind and really achieving that through the basics. You'll see in the coaching space or in any industry for that matter that people have a lot of goals. They get into, complex tools, funnels, and really all it takes to become successful is being consistent and using the power of momentum and the compound effect towards the one goal that you set. But you cannot really build momentum onto different goals, right? So having just one goal makes a big difference without you maybe even realizing, right? Because let's say you've got 2, it's very difficult to optimize for 2 when both have no momentum, right? Because momentum requires a consistent effort. And let's say you've got goal 1, you've got goal 2, basically building momentum for 1, gets you up here, but then you gotta focus on the second one too, and then time and consistency gets affected on goal 1, and then this goes up, and then it's a constant juggle between the 2, right? And not only do you not hit your goal, if you were to even hit the goal, then again, the goal setting never really stops, right? So you're gonna face the same problem with more complexity and more mass until the business or whatever goal you've set for yourself, and that doesn't result in a venture that will pay off at the level that maybe you wanted to pay it off at. So that's one. Millionaires focus on one goal and they stick to the basics. Number 2, millionaires always focus on becoming the next version of themselves, right? One thing that I learned from my mentor Sam Ovens is that you are not static as a person, right? A lot of people will say oh, I'm a supermarket employee, I work in a corporate setting, and that's what they identify themselves as, and they keep doing that for 40 years. And because they identify themselves as a static being, they're not growing and really stick up until the end of their career in that setting, and they never achieve something great when they always had the potential to do so, right? So you're not static, you're always becoming the next version of yourself. So you always want to ask yourself, who are you becoming as a person? And that's why it's very clear to not only note down your identity, but also have that one goal, because that one goal is your Polaris star. So lesson 2 ties into lesson 1. They're all interconnected. So again, millionaires always focus on becoming the next version of themselves. Number 3, millionaires stay away from negativity and they focus on good energy. Now guys, if you maybe feel like you're in a low vibration or low energy, this is all because of usually a few things. It can be the content you consume, it can be the food you eat, it can be a lack of exercise, it can be a lack of sun, it can be a lack of the basic things that actually bring a lot of energy and happiness to a human being. Even simple things as standing in the grass, it can do great things for your energy. So millionaires, what they do is they stay away from negativity, right? So things like the news, negative people, negative content, junk food. They make sure they're not just sitting on their ass all day, they're moving, and with that they create good energy, right? So it's actually more subtracting than adding for most people, and that's what it was for myself too when it comes down to becoming and thinking like a millionaire, right? This is something that I'm always very wary of. So whenever I'm maybe doom scrolling, I stop it, right? Or if I see something while doom scrolling and it's negative, I just go away, right? Click it away. If there's negative people in my life, I just remove them, right? It maybe sounds cutthroat, but you got to pick your heart. you know, like you're paying a price either way. Because if you're around a negative person and they're complaining here and there, it's gonna affect the way you feel, the way your energy is. And with that, that can affect the way you do, you know, your day-to-day business, the way you think, the way you make decisions, how you show up on content, right? It actually is a pretty big price that you pay by being around negative people or consuming negative content or having bad habits, right? And that's something that you want to make sure you do not do, and really discipline yourself to becoming a person that knows how to build up good energy, because, you know, who does good, good comes to. So that being said, that is number 3. Number 4, millionaires do not judge others and they work under ego at all times. Judging, even when you don't say it, right? It can affect your confidence, because if you're mentally judging people on Instagram, or maybe when you're referencing to someone and there's a judgment towards that person, now you're going to be creating a fear and a sense of insecurity without you even knowing, because now, you know, like life is kind of like a mirror, you know? And so when you judge others, you think too that people think like you do and that they're going to judge you. So if you do public speaking, or if you do Zoom webinars, or if you ever like have a client meeting or a sales call, this will not serve you. So a great way to have like a stable thought process when you're conversing with someone and a good sense of confidence is not judging others, and being very self-aware when you are, because you can. And even when you're in like a friend group and you're making fun of someone and you are calling out judgments, this actually again is a price you're paying without maybe you even realizing. So understand that, you know, when you are judging others, this can come to bite you back in any opportunity you're maybe trying to capitalize upon. So do not judge others. And the second thing that I was going to mention is that millionaires work under ego at all times. And we all have an ego. If you say don't have an ego, that's ego, funnily enough. And, you know, ego is something that I struggle with in seasons. And we all have it. And ego is the cause of, you know, conflicts. Ego is the cause of arguments. Ego is the cause of many bad things that happen. It rarely serves any good. And, you know, when you don't work on your ego, this can actually get people to retract from you, right? So like if you're leveling up in life and you're starting to meet good people and you are, you know, someone that has a ego as a characteristic coming up quite frequently in the way you converse, the way you talk, the way you ask questions, that can actually hurt you. Again, you're paying a price without you maybe even realizing. And these are the things that millionaires are very aware of. And ego is also admitting your mistake, admitting you're wrong. It's taking responsibility. It's not playing victim. And it's these things that, you know, create you to be a millionaire mentally. And when you can be there mentally, it's a matter of time before you get there physically and, you know, in reality. Next, we have millionaires always have a student mindset and they invest into themselves, right? Student mindset is the opposite of ego, right? Because when you think you know it all, that's when you stop growing. And I've seen many people, like, you know, be at a stage where they say like, oh, I already know this, or I'm already doing this. They always tend to stay stuck in the same place. And they're not realizing that they're choosing to, right? Like they're not open to help, they're not open to feedback. And with that, they are paying a price. And I've seen many people with an ego pay a heavy price because, you know, they are ignorant to learning new things and being open-minded and being maybe even reminded of the basics that they need to do instead of complex things to achieve an outcome, right? So understand that you need to have a student mindset and you cannot lead with your ego, because when you lead with your ego, that is the beginning of the end. So my phone just died, and that actually wants me to take lesson 8 to lesson 6, and that is that millionaires take imperfect action instead of perfect action, right? Because most people that I know, and especially in the coaching space or in any industry for that matter, is that they basically want everything to be perfect and only then will they do it. But then what ends up happening is that they think so much that they end up not taking any action at all. And that's called analysis paralysis. And it's something that's very common among, you know, entrepreneurs. And it's very important that, like, you know, when you have a goal, that you take imperfect action and you do not do what I call busy work, right? So let's say it's your goal to build a business, and basically for a business, what you need is you need a service that you can fulfill upon, and you need customers, right? And that's like fundamentally the phase 1 of it. Of course, after that comes team building, retention, increasing LTV, but let's take the 2 key things here, right? Which is getting customers and delivering a service at a high quality. All you need to do is to do outreach and reach out to people, get them on a call, close them on your service. That is all it takes, right? But what most people do is they'll go ahead and first get a logo. they'll get a website, they will prepare tons of documents, and that's what I call busy work. So take imperfect action, face your fears, and move forward, because only when you start to take action is when things start to change. So take imperfect action instead of perfect action. That's the lesson that I just went over. The next lesson is that millionaires do not focus on looking rich, but being rich, right? I know a lot of people that have, made millions online, even tens of millions, and I know quite a lot of them personally, and a lot of them actually struggle financially. And when I say struggle, this is because, of lifestyle inflation, this is because of taxes, this is because of bad investments, and, also mainly the lifestyle inflation aspect, right? And it's really important that you make sure that you've got a good tax structure, that your books are in order, that you are profitable, that, the cash inflow and the cash outflow of your business. It's really important that if you want to become a millionaire, that you focus on being rich, not looking rich. That's the key to being a millionaire, sustaining that, and growing on to become a multimillionaire, then a decamillionaire, and then of course, all the way to becoming a billionaire if that is your end goal. So that is lesson number 6. Lesson number 7 that I have right here is that millionaires act upon their intuition to reach new levels, right? So if you're someone that likes to ask for a lot of people their opinion, it actually also gets you stuck, right? It's always good to get someone's 2 cents or to get confirmation and advice, or a word from a mentor. But do not ask, your parents, your wife, or your husband, for their confirmation. Just trust your own gut. If you have a mentor, ask your mentor, right? Because they're your mentor for a reason. But do not, get mixed up in tons of different opinions, because that will only get you more confused, right? So one thing that I know with millionaires is that they act upon their intuition to reach new levels. Okay, you do not want to be stuck in tons of opinions. So guys, these are the 8 lessons that I've distilled here for you today on how to think like a millionaire so you can become one. I hope this was valuable to you, and if you want to see more videos like this, just let me know in the comments, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.